Okay, we're ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ralph, you're on.
Let's bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you today, Lord, for the opportunity to be here to serve our city, Lord. We just ask for your blessing, and we hope that our work is in your favor and that we do the work that you'd like to do. We thank you for watching over us as we travel here, and we ask you to see us safely home, Lord. Thank you for blessing us, and we ask for healing for our city and our state. And we just ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Litchfield,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Here.
Commissioner Moya.
Here.
Commissioner Villanueva, Commissioner Arias.
Here.
All right, tonight, first thing on the agenda is a public hearing. It's a consideration of the issuance of a liquor license for Stable Waters LLC at Bell's Restaurant, application number 1204899. If anyone would like to speak, you must be sworn in first. Is there anyone that has anything to say, or yay or nay? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to grant this liquor license to Stable Waters LLC.
I'll make a motion that we approve the liquor license for Stable Waters LLC.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yep.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Congratulations. Next, is there any considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay, there being none, I would entertain a motion.
There is one change.
There is, okay.
Yes, I believe Claire wanted us to delete the RFP, so that would be item 8.
Oh,
8A.
8A,
Yes.
under new business.
Yes.
All right, now, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as corrected.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is public comments. Citizens wanting to speak at this time must sign up prior to the meeting. Public comments is an opportunity for citizens to comment on non-agenda items. This is not for discussion or questions and answers. Citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak. First on the agenda tonight is Connie Loveland
We're just
and
gonna,
Scott together.
we're gonna tag team.
Okay.
You know,
So,
all of this has kind of been a group effort, so,
Okay.
we wanted to come tonight and just publicly give thanks, to the following, can you hear me okay with that?
You can take your mask off to speak.
To the following people and organizations who have given of their time and dollars to help, decorate the railroad depot downtown, the 2nd Street, light poles and trees, and then Veterans Park. And so I've got a long list of people that have helped that I'd like to read. Amish Bhakta, Tristan, that works at the Dinosaur Museum, Robert Cioli, Rob Frederico, lent us the bucket truck and his time. Karen Alarcon, Rebecca, and Remy, she's one of the artists that's in town. Levi and Lily, Liliana Sandoval and her daughter, Carol Keith, Bobby Hockaday, of course Scott, Annie McCauley with Blanco Creek Boutique. She purchased additional lights and extension cords for us. The Clay County government also contributed additional extension cords. Bought Electric, Chris Grease, Tomas and the City Parks Department. The Chamber of Commerce also bought lights, extension cords, and timers. Main Street bought lights, extension cords, and timers. It took a lot of extension cords this year. XL Energy, of course, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they donated 13,000 lights for us to hand out to businesses and put up around downtown. And then I also wanted to say a special thank you to Gabriel Guevara, Rose Armijo, TDA Electric, the Urioste family, Aguilera and Guevara families, Maria, John, and Dimitri Chavez, as well as several Albuquerque-based businesses. They donated 140 coats and jackets last Saturday for Santa to hand out. We didn't know we were getting them until Saturday morning.
Okay.
And so Santa was able to hand those out after the Parade of Lights with the assistance from Shasta Cordova. She's a teacher at the elementary school, and her daughter. And we handed out 127 jackets that night. And then the rest were given to CYFD. It was truly an amazing thing to be a part of that. And then just wanted to say that with the help of all these people, and I know Scott's got a list too to say, but we're gaining recognition as a Christmas town. And last week, New Mexico Magazine listed our events in the top 5 Christmas things to do in New Mexico.
Cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
So in the same breath, the Chamber of Commerce
That's a lot of
and, yeah, the Parade of Lights Committee, we'd like to additionally thank the City Planning Office for working with us through the permitting process. Altrusa gave us a grant for all the candy that we supplied to the kids, which was over 300 bags that we stuffed. Lowe's grocery store gave us apples and fruit that we put, or oranges that we put in each one. Father's Forge for letting us start the parade at their location this year due to Kmart being under construction. Tony Clayton, who was Santa from Roswell, he did an excellent job. For those of you who haven't seen him, he is a true Santa. Doctors Dan C. Trigg Memorial Hospital staff for making hot cocoa and fresh cookies to hand out that night, as well as the Blue Swallow and Dells for hosting Santa, and the Motel Safari for hosting our judges. We really appreciate all of them.
Oh, that's our timer.
Sorry.
That's okay. I got through
There was
it.
a
Yeah.
lot of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Karen Alpine.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Commission, City Manager, and Halika too. We love you.
Thank you.
Tucumcari Rawhide Days, we're hosting an event at the Main Street, at the Railroad Depot. And we're having carriage rides tomorrow and Saturday. And I believe our tickets are closed, but if you still would like tickets, you can get with us tomorrow and Connie at Tucumcari Main Street. This is a fabulous event. We appreciate all the lights being put up. We also did purchase some cords and extension cords too through Rawhide Days to make this happen. I do need to thank some of our sponsors that are helping to get Harry to Loomis with Rio Grande Carriage Works here. In the past, he has not been paid a decent amount to do this work, and I felt he's worthy after all the pandemic and everything that's gone through. So we're trying to raise the money to pay him properly, and we want to thank him. He's been with Rawhide Day since day one, and we thank him. He'll be here tomorrow. So we need to thank our sponsors: Motel Safari, Solano Wagon, Tucumcari Masonic Lodge, Tucumcari Federal Savings and Loan, Blue Swallow Motel, Roadrunner Lodge, and Wild at Heart Floral. Also hosts Tucumcari Main Street. Thank you very much. And then advertising with KTNM KQAY Radio. And we hope you all can come and have some chuck wagon food and enjoy a carriage ride. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Okay. Next on the agenda is Michael Wright.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to come to speak. I just really got one question. All of you know that I've been in law enforcement in the state in Tucumcari since 2013. Due to an issue in March of 2019, I had to resign my position with the Tucumcari Police Department. So I guess my question is, and because I resigned without notice, I was considered a non-rehire. I can understand. I've talked to Mr. Martinez, the city manager, and I resigned because of a family medical emergency. As I talked to Mr. Martinez, I let him know. A week before I did resign, I asked for a leave of absence and was denied, even after I told him what was going on with my son. I didn't really have a choice. It was either one of my wife or me resign. I'd only been with the department this time around maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So now I've been turned down 3 times, or twice that I know of for sure, for a position. I'm certified, I've been through the academy. I mean, to me, hiring me would be a no-brainer because you don't have to send me to the academy. You don't have to pay for all the medical, you don't have to pay for everything. I guess my question is, how long am I gonna be punished for something I did out of respect for my son? I tried talking to the police chief before, I talked to you, Mr. Martinez, and I'm just not getting anywhere, and I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I wanna work in this job, I don't wanna have to take a position in either Logan or, you know, I have buddies trying to get me to go with Curry County. I wanna be here. This is my home. This is where my family is. This is where my house is. I have no intentions on wanting to leave. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I put in an application, I contacted the chief of police in July and asked him, I mean, I was blunt. Am I still considered a rehire, or if I put my application in for 2 positions, will I be considered? I was told, go ahead and put my application in. They were going to test in August. As soon as August came around, he would pull me in and he would talk to me and we would sit down and come up with a solution. Since then, I've tried calling him. I don't know what else to do. I mean, this is probably my last, I'm not sure if you guys can help me or, you know, probably not. I don't know. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent without discussion or vote. And those items would be the approval of work session notes from November 18th, lodger's tax minutes for November 3rd, approval of commission meeting minutes for November 18th. Do I have any questions or concerns about any of these that need to be discussed?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Webb?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 2021-36, a resolution authorizing the submission of a proposal in response to the request for proposals to provide senior services in Tucumcari, New Mexico. And I believe Clara Ray will take care of that.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Commission. So this goes hand in hand with the RFP, except what happened, I'd like to explain with the actual RFP, is we have, it's not due until the 15th, so next week, excuse me. However, we have to get it on the agenda a week before. So Angelica was great and gave me an extension till Monday, so I worked on it on the weekend. And then Monday, we get an email that says our deadline has been pushed back to January, and we're going to be having a meeting. So the reason I wanted it pulled was I don't want to miss something in the meeting and bring it to you tonight for approval and then have to bring it back again. So we'll go ahead with the resolution because that just authorizes to go ahead. And what happens is it's not a given that the city is the sponsoring agent for the senior center. We have to actually bid on it. And that's the response to the RFP. So I have to submit a 4-year plan, and you may have already seen that in your packet. So it's just that time again. It's something that we do every 4 years, and I would just respectfully request your approval and answer any questions if you have any.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2021-36.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2021-36.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Webb?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is resolution 2021-37. It's a resolution to participate in the match waiver program for the transportation project fund.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The title's kind of a misnomer in that we've already approved this in the original form where we had matching on it. Since then, we were awarded the match waiver for that transportation project fund. And this is a $1 million grant total, including the match waiver for the Barnes Gamble Edition street project that we're doing. So with their approval of our match waiver, we were awarded the 5% matching, which is $50,000 on this project. So this is resolution is just required to show that we were awarded the match waiver, and I'd ask for your approval based on that.
Okay, anyone have any questions concerning this resolution? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept to pass resolution 2021-37.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2021-37.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, under bids and contracts, approval of contract 2021-22 68040 between the city of Tucumcari and North Central New Mexico Economic Development District non-metro area agency on aging. Who's going, oh,
So this was actually what was removed at the beginning of the meeting.
I thought it was 8A, the RFP.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 8A is the RFP. 7A is a contract 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, I apologize. Too many
I didn't
contracts.
read it all, on expanding access to COVID-19 vaccination.
There we
I'm
go.
sorry.
Okay, no problem.
My bad.
We're good now. So this is to accept, a grant in the amount of $3,000, which will help us offset the cost as we are, promoting COVID vaccines.
Okay.
And, I would request your approval and apologize.
No, it's my fault. I didn't read it all. I'm sorry. Do I have any questions or?
What does COVID-19 involve or extend?
So what we do is well check calls. So we've got people that are calling our seniors every day. We're also providing transportation if they need transportation to get their boosters or their vaccines. At the very beginning, there were some that were hesitant and now they're wanting to. We're also not just doing that, but if they need assistance because you have to go online into the New Mexico Department of Health website, we're actually doing that for them. So there's a little bit more that we're doing to promote the COVID boosters and the vaccines.
Because it's
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, because we,
Yes.
in our agency, we've been having trouble getting people who are not against it, but they just haven't been able to get they don't have the computer, they don't know how to do it. And it's been a real challenge because even today I had to chase one person down just to get down there to get the COVID,
Okay.
So-
They can call the senior center.
and they can do it.
And what we do is we take the information over the phone. So what we'll do is, we'll make sure we're in a, private area. And then we will call them back and we'll bring the screen up and then we'll ask them all the questions and we'll actually do that for them.
Yeah, because I know that office here on Second Street, the county place, they're doing it.
Yes.
That's what we've been thinking. Good.
Yeah, so I think they're administering, but this is the registering of it.
No,
that we
that's
help
where we're
with.
having the problem.
Yes,
Not only the
registering.
registering, but reminding them and picking them up. is the
Yes.
other problem we have. And our goal is to see if we can get as many as we can vaccinated. They're not against it or anything, they just haven't had the help to get the technology to be able to get the appointment, because that's what the biggest problem is. And also the other thing is getting the transportation.
Yes, and it is challenging.
Mhm.
If you're not familiar with the computer, it's a little bit intimidating.
It's
So
hard.
yes, they can call the senior center and we'll be happy to help them.
And there is a good nurse on Second Street that gives good shots.
There is. Lots of good
nurses. She's a good shot giver. All right. Anyone have any other questions or anything? I would entertain a motion to approve this contract between the city of Tucumcari and North Central New Mexico Economic Development District non-metro area agency on aging, expanding access to the COVID-19 vaccination.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this contract.
Okay.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, under bids and contracts, is the airport taxiway reconstruction agreement and amendment.
Mayor Commissioners, this is an amendment to our contract with FAA for the taxiway project out there at the airport. The project is actually complete, and we've expended most of the money on it, including the engineering on it. But we have had a hard time getting on some of the FAA websites in order to download the survey and the as-bills. So we requested from FAA a time extension so we can complete the paperwork on it, just to kind of close it out and keep things moving until then. So this is just an amendment for time only and no money or anything like that. So I'd stand for questions and ask for your approval.
I'd entertain a motion to approve this amendment.
I make a motion we approve the amendment for the airport taxiway reconstruction agreement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Next is the amendment to the New Mexico DOT Transportation Project Fund Agreement to reflect the award of the match waiver.
Ma'am, this is the actual amendment to the agreement that goes with the resolution that you approved a little while ago. This is just to reflect that the DOT will be paying 100% of this $1 million project. And it just changes our agreement showing the award of the additional $50,000 that the city doesn't have to pay. So at this time, I'd like to ask for your approval.
Do I have any questions, comments? I would accept it. Not, I would,
I'll make a motion.
yeah, thank you.
Amendment, a motion to accept the amendment to the Mexico DOT Transportation Project.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Thank you.
Since we deleted new business, it's on to the city manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. So I have something that I'm very happy to report finally. It's been quite a wait, but tomorrow around noon, we finally get delivery of our new ambulance.
Whoa, it's about time. That's what I had here to ask you, what happened to it?
Since finally,
I had it on my thing to ask you, what happened to it?
there was a slight delay with the graphics. That was the last holdup. So I know the interim fire chief is trying to coordinate the DOT inspection tomorrow. That way we can get that thing back in service.
We need it bad.
In service
Yes.
ASAP.
Can we get Santa to deliver it?
We'll do whatever we want. I'm just happy that it's going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
I also want to let the commission and the public know that we did receive $22,000 for our airport through the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funding. Received phone calls from Constance Marie as well as Ben Salazar. Want to give an update. The flooring has started and is almost complete, the polished concrete with the stencil at the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks Scott for his quick movement on all those renovations to making that a true visitor center. It's looking great. They will be starting with the convention center hopefully late next week. So it's great. When you have the time and everything's back open, maybe 2 weeks from now, stop in and say hi to Scott and check out the new floor.
You're gonna have the grand opening.
We will. On that stencil, that's permanent on there, or how is it?
It
I
is,
haven't got
so
to see it, so I don't know.
when they go and they grind down the concrete, they put the stencil, they paint it with whatever type of paint they use, and it's on there and it'll stay, and then they start polishing it and add some kind of stuff on top of it, some kind of sealant, and it's there permanently, and it looks great.
No, it looked great, but I didn't know if it was just gonna peel off within a year.
No, it's permanent. It adheres to the actual concrete itself. The paint is absorbed somehow, and no, it'll be protected, so it's
That's really cool
low
that I
maintenance.
saw that.
So we'll be doing the same concept out of the convention center, not so much a Route 66 themed stencil, but we've talked about different decoration just to make the convention center modern. We're gonna have an outside border to make it look good and really stand out. That'll be one color. The inside of the concrete, the main section will be a different color. And then last but not least, we'll have some kind of stencil, some kind of design to make it look really elegant and nice. So
Have you decided what kind of stencil?
not yet. I've been working with the gentleman in charge of the flooring, and we've been discussing back and forth different ideas. It's kind of like a blank canvas. So he's gonna come up with some ideas, draw some things out, and then we'll decide what works best for the convention center. Also wanted to mention that unfortunately, due to some high COVID cases throughout the county, we're just being extra cautious. We're gonna postpone basketball and push it back a little bit. We're not canceling it, we're just postponing it. And with that, we're also postponing our city appreciation meal that we typically have in December. There's a few reasons for that, but we're looking to try to reschedule the city appreciation around potentially March 25th is a Friday we're looking at. I also have a letter for NMDOT for the commissioners to sign. It's just thanking them for their assistance in the start of addressing the water drainage issue we have here on Main Street.
Good.
Talked about being appreciative of them bringing out the street sweepers as well as cleaning out the metal grates where the storm drainage goes. And that they have our full support from the city of Tucumcari, from the commission, any kind of assistance we could do to advocate for them to try to get this grant funding or any kind of funding federally from the state, to follow through and work on this drainage issue from Rock Island and 3rd Street, like we had talked about when Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis was at that meeting, as well as James Gallegos, the district engineer, and Senator Pete Campos. And without really promising, he said that they're really going to try to put that on their list to get some kind of project right there in the Main Street area. So this is in support of it. I'll pass it around to the commission after the meeting to get y'all's signature. I also wanted to talk about the cannabis ordinance. Right now, as our current cannabis ordinance stands, I believe it was an oversight, and it really doesn't allow for anything the way it reads in a certain section. I think section 8C, I believe. So I know community development had a chance, and Alika, myself, we all had a chance to attend Municipal League workshop in regards to cannabis. With that, they offered their support from an attorney, I guess they contract with, that's really in tune with this. He's staying up to date. Vicky from Community Development forwarded our ordinance to him, and he marked it up, had some concerns with liability, pointed out and struck the area where it pretty much omits anything within city limits. So with that being said, I've reached out to that attorney. I like what he's done prior to our city attorney, what he had drafted and we adopted. So I've asked him to please have a work session with us, potentially the first meeting in January 13th. My only concern is we're going to be behind when it comes to the city. Applications are rolling in already, and come January 1st, we should be ready. Unfortunately, it's going to take time to go through the process to have the hearing again, the public hearing, and re-adopt. We have to see what's in the best interest. Do we repeal it, replace? Can we just amend the current? What's the exact process? So I plan on reaching out to this other attorney and asking him if he can meet any sooner to try to streamline this. But I really liked his ideas, just the way he talked about it in the workshop. He seemed really well versed and knew what was going on. He's staying up to date with everything. Nothing against our city attorney, but there's a lot of oversights, and that concerns me. So with that being said, stay tuned. I'll be reaching out to the commission to see when the other attorney can meet with us to have a work session and kind of discuss that.
Because actually in the ordinance, the commission here discussed that we're gonna allow a dispenser to be 150 feet apart from each other, but it's not in the ordinance. So we're gonna have to see if that's what was the wish of the commission. If we're gonna do a new ordinance, that has to be in it, because that was what the commission had decided here. And as I understand it, it is not in our ordinance as we had recommended.
It is. The 150 feet is, and that's one of the recommendations that the other attorney said, well, you may watch out on that. That could come back and haunt you. But either way, it's up to the commission, but it definitely has to be addressed as soon as possible, because right now it pretty much omits everything. And I do want to give this other attorney a chance to kind of explain some things, and it seems like he's a little bit more up to speed as things progress.
And it comes to that, the other thing we had that we discussed here in that ordinance is that, the 150 feet from one dispensary to another is what we recommended that we wanted. The next thing we did was first come, first served. In other words, whoever comes in with a letter stating that this building is certified for the purpose of cannabis, in other words, they've done their research to the planning office. We have to clarify that, because as it stands right now, I don't think we have it as clarified as we should have it. Because actually we should, that's what the commission wanted, that's what the commission recommended, is that we will do that the first person that comes in with the planning and zoning or whatever it is, the letter stating that the 300 feet from this, the park and the church and Head Start, and this is the building they're looking at to do a dispensary, then that would be the first business that would get it recognized. And then, let's say, for example, the neighbor next door to this business comes in. Well, we have to clarify that, because I don't think it's that clarified in our statute right now.
It is not clarified, and I think that's something we need to work with. The way I understood it from speaking with the city attorney, last discussion over the cannabis ordinance that it was a business license transaction that kind of first come, first served. The zoning verification is utilized for everything. It just lets you know it's zoned commercial, not so much for cannabis, because any letters that would be drafted to this point would be null and void, because right now we don't have an ordinance that allows for anything.
No, actually, that's not what we're talking about. It's like, let's say, for example, almost like the liquor license. You know, before I would buy a building to put a bar, I would go over to the planning and zoning and see if I meet the specs, you know?
Correct.
Why would I want to buy the Crescent Creamery, which is across from a, what do you call it, church, and try and do a brewery, you know? And then I come with all the paperwork to say, this is my building, and it meets all the specs as far as the state requirement and the city requirement, you know? And so what I'm saying is we have to work for that, for the first person that comes in with that, because we're looking at 150 feet. We're not looking at every building being certified.
Correct, but under Title 17, underneath the community development for the planning and zoning code, Title 17, it has allowances for each zoning district. There is not an allowance in that ordinance for cannabis.
No, but we do have an ordinance that we talked here, and Commissioner Duplantis was chairman of it, and we did talk about that ordinance. And so we have to amend that ordinance to meet the specs of the planning and zoning.
Correct, because that ordinance right now states
Because
it's
we're
not.
trying to do everything right. We don't want anybody going and investing in a building that aren't certified to be in.
Correct.
And we're gonna have some outside, so this thing has to be straightened out. It's not fair for somebody who's already planning. And actually, there's one right downtown that's already doing a lot of work, and he better make sure that he has all the specs met.
And that's why I believe we need to correct this ordinance as soon as possible, because we do have numerous applications already
Yes, you do.
submitted.
And that's one of the areas, is 150 feet needs to be addressed. The other area is the building that comes in first within the 150 feet from the other people, and also meet those specs by the state and federal, you know? So, I mean, not the federal, just the state cannabis. Even though we don't have a cannabis license, but we're already gearing to work on the ordinance towards certifying people to be able to operate here. And we have to be as fair as we can, clear as we can. We don't want all kinds of confusion and difficulty for the staff here, and also for you, you know, or the commission. We'd like to have it as clear as we can, so we can operationally be defined, easy to go through, and out of the way.
And that's what the meeting with the new attorney will do, correct?
And I'd like to discuss the permit application fees, because as a permit's already coming in, once we adopt the new ordinance that'll go into place, I'd like to set those fees per resolution. That way, as soon as an application comes in, we're able to charge that, because if not, then it would be too late to the game. We wouldn't be able to charge those fees.
That's right.
Okay, so then at this point, I guess, Mr. Martinez, I just need to know, I guess, my direction. When I get a business license application for cannabis, I hold on to it until this ordinance is cleared.
This ordinance needs to clear right now. I think everything's technically not allowed in the city limits based on what was adopted. That needs to be fixed at that point. I still like how we discussed, the process starts with the business license, and then the business license, it transfers over to community development for the planning and zoning verification.
So we're saying first come, first served. So we've got people that are gonna apply for these business license while y'all decide, this should have been done a while back. This would have been nice to be brought up when we were spending 6 months trying to put this ordinance together. So this first come, first served, if they've already applied to there, they get to maintain their spot, shouldn't they?
Technically, when it was applied for, it was illegal. It's not valid right now.
But wait, they're really, in order for you to apply for the state, you have to apply for a license in the city, an ordinance, where it would be suitable to have the cannabis or dispensary. No, this thing has to be straightened out. We need to fix it right. And right now, it's more confusing than it's worth. We need to get it right. The 150 feet, and people who are coming in, there's a guy here in town that already put a lot of money on their building
There's
downtown.
actually several.
And it's not fair, and I think it's not fair that they're putting that, and then I come next door to them and open one and get the permit, and he doesn't because he's next door to me. So we need to get this clarified. That's why we have attorneys. That's why we need legal representation, because we don't want to mess up anybody who's investing already in our community. We want to welcome them because we want this industry to bring some revenue for us, jobs, everything.
Based
economic.
on the applications we received, I don't see any conflict with that. Everything that we received to date, everybody's outside the 150 feet, so it shouldn't affect them anyhow. Correct?
That's correct. So I guess my point of clarification would be, I hold on to those applications. I don't forward them over to community development.
No, because right now it's all omitted from the ordinance. It states that it's not allowable. So I think once that happens, we can accept it and timestamp when they received it. It's just, we can't technically approve it as a city until, of course, we got to go through the process with the state, but we can't even bump it up to the next level to our ordinances adjust.
And the next level would be forwarding it to planning and zoning for the letter.
That's pretty embarrassing that our attorney.
We need to get on this because you said there's people already planning and investing in town.
They already have.
Yeah, and
Because
so,
of the ordinance.
yes, and so, and the only reason I'm saying this is because questions were brought up to me, okay? In the ordinance, in the cannabis, regulation, it clearly states, not close to parks, schools, Head Start, church. And now we need to clarify, is the Sandorsi a park or not? It's not, we never declared it, but yeah, it shouldn't be, considered, but we need a point of clarification. Now, the veteran park, is that a memorial, or is that a park? You know what I mean? And this is things that are small, but they need to be clarified. Because somebody's putting their money in, their hard-earned money to do a business, and we need to be as straightforward as we can and good business practice. Not giving a wishy-washy thing, and now we have lawsuits and everything else going, because anybody who invests money has that right, and will get angry and will sue us. And we need to clarify it. We need to have this work session on this ordinance of the cannabis, and this attorney, let's get together, let's get it out of the way. Because we spent a lot of time putting it together with the community and the group that Commissioner DePlanet had. We want to make sure that what we promised is going to deliver.
Well, and that's where I feel let down to a point by our city attorney. He should have caught that. This other attorney stated that technically per state statute, you cannot omit it near parks. That's something that the commission or the committee put into place. So you eliminate that eliminates that question completely. In my opinion, Veterans Park would be a park. San Dorsey is a vacant lot. But anyhow, I think you remove the parks. The only thing you cannot build near is a certified daycare and a school.
Yeah, you can build close to a church, it's not a big deal, but the commission was the one who recommended the church here.
Right.
But, yeah, okay.
What is the soonest that it's looking like we could have this work session to get this cleared up?
January 13th, but I'm gonna reach out to the other attorney and see if he can meet before then.
Well, we need to, because January the 1st is the beginning of the applications.
I agree.
We need to get all these things straightened out.
Could we see if we could get it on next week sometime?
A special session
That's
of
the
the
plan. I'm gonna try. I'm not promising. I think that's kind of short notice, and I know this attorney's representing or we're talking to a lot of other municipalities as well.
So you said it may be possible that we could issue this as an amendment to the current one, correct?
Correct, and that's something I want some legal advice from that gentleman as well, is can we go ahead and just amend it, or do we need to have to repeal ordinance 1160 and now adopt 1161? Because that would be a little bit more of a process, more advertising.
Well, if we could amend, because remember when we talked to the attorney, he said we could do an amendment. That's what they recommended.
This is the same
On
attorney.
the legal department, he said that.
That messed up.
Exactly.
The same attorney that messed up is the one that said we could do that, so.
But also keep in mind, when he was speaking of amendments, he was talking about fees.
Correct.
Amendments to resolutions, not amendments on actual law and procedures.
Well, no, because we had asked about because he had concerns about some of the things we had. And I clarified that a lot of part of the ordinance clarifies that when the state finally comes up with theirs, that is understood that could supersede some of the stuff we put in the ordinance. He goes, yeah, we can always just amend those. Because he did bring, that was brought up, and I did specify
Correct,
that.
and that is
So-
correct. However, I believe the amendment would have to go through the ordinance process. It's not through a resolution process.
But you still have
You still have to
Public
go
hearing,
through your
advertisement.
public
Yeah,
hearing,
but-
you still have to go through your
So-
advertisement.
So worst case scenario, if the 13th is when we can have that meeting, then we're looking at early March before we have something passed?
I would say
late
mid-February.
February.
This is the thing we talked about, Commissioner DePlanet, that we wanted everything in order by the beginning of the year.
Right.
And look what happened. But we have to stay on top of this. This is a good industry coming in. We have to be fair. And we can't be dragging our feet like we're doing now. This was why we did the committee early. This is why we did everything, and now we got backslash. But I'm telling you, let's see as soon as we can. Let's see what you can talk to the attorney. Let's get this thing organized.
I think that's the important thing now. We can't fix what's past. Let's just get it right now.
Right.
But you also can do an addendum. Yes, you can advertise it and as an addendum to the ordinance and keep what we have because it has a lot of the wording that we want in there, that the committee wanted and recommended. And then just do an addendum to what we need to correct.
I can tell you now, the other attorney marked it up top to bottom. There's a lot of verbiage that shouldn't be in there. There's a lot of things that he said, you're setting yourself up. You're liable for a lawsuit if you include this language. So that's why I've asked him to do a full work session starting about 4:00. So he's able to explain everything. It's still up to the commission on how you want to adopt it, but I want you to at least to hear his spiel because I agree where he's coming from. I don't think we need to set ourselves up for a lawsuit either.
No, we don't. But also we have to be fair to those people.
Before.
Yeah, absolutely. I could send it out to the commission tonight.
Yeah, because we really want to be as fair as we can. People are already investing and that's not right.
And that's where you said we have the liability issues, correct?
Yeah, you could see he did a red line markup and you can see his comments on the right column. You can see everything he struck. You can see everything that he's added. It flows a lot better. I like it. I enjoyed his presentation during the municipal league workshop. It's good. I think we at least need to hear his spiel and let him present to us and then let the commission make a decision on how to proceed.
Well, let's get that meeting and get it done right away.
What we really want to look at is that we want them in our city limits. You know, we don't want everybody outside the city limits because we're so unfriendly, you know?
And he even talked about adding additional, you had talked to the previous city attorney, or he was saying in the beginning, no, you couldn't grow outside. This attorney is a little more.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
He's talking about even allowances for greenhouses and whatnot. So we need to go through the process and listen to it.
Yeah, and that's when I told him, I said, the state doesn't say that, so. Because right now, as it is with the medical cannabis, you can do as many as you can outside, acreage and everything, and you've seen a lot up in Belen and Bernalillo. And then for him to tell us we couldn't do that, I said, no, you're nuts, because everybody else is doing it on the medical aspect. And in the city legislation, it doesn't say that you cannot. Okay, so as soon as we can, so we can get this thing straightened out. It's only right for people who are already investing.
I'm not going to be leaving them in a lot of uncertainty building up to April 1st.
That's too
When
far.
they start losing money.
Yeah, and January the 1st is when you can start doing your application. And here we are in the middle of December, and we started, when was it? We started in April with the meeting.
The same week it got legislation approved it.
Yeah.
We started it.
Okay, let's see what we can do to correct it.
And other than that, I'd just like to thank Connie and Scott and the rest of the volunteers for everything going on now during the Christmas season. It's amazing what they put together. I'd like to thank Mr. Lopez and Community Development for their hard work. And of course, Clara and the senior staff for all they do, and the rest of the employees. So thank you all for what you do. Keep up the good work. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Next is, items from commissioners. All right, Commissioner Moya, we'll start with you.
Okay, let me see where I start. First of all, you know, we still own the chaparrals, and we have not received a report on any of the financial. I'd like to have it's still our responsibility to see how that thing is operating. I don't want to be surprised like in the last minute with public housing, you're out the door, you know? And so I like to see some financials from them, see how they're doing, what's going on in that project. It's still our responsibility, it's still the taxpayers' property. So I like to see that, okay? And make sure they understand that we like to see some of those. It's important for us.
I believe they only made $7,000 profit for the whole year.
It doesn't matter, I still want to see it, okay? I still want to see their financial. I don't want to be surprised like a little Mickey Mouse thing that percentile of apartments weren't rented until the federal government decided to take it away from the city, who was doing an excellent job in managing them and giving it to somebody who seems like it's full of weeds and everything else. I'm not very happy with them and difficulty in application. So, I want to stay on top of the chaparrals, and if we ever decide to get rid of them, then it's a different story, but meanwhile, it's still our responsibility, and one of the hardcore of any organization is the financial.
I believe it's a huge liability. We need to discuss, review all the financials, get on the same page, and really look at the liability associated with us having to pay nearly $600,000, knowing it's only profiting $7,000 a year. So we may want to visit that in the future, and potentially transferring that over to Monarch Properties, but that, we'll say that.
Let me ask you, Monarch Property, you keep recommending, look at the quays, what a mess it is. Is that what we want over here, little quay? No, I don't want that. I mean, if they can prove they can manage with it and keep it the way we want it. Look what happened with this recommendation in new public housing. What a mess it is. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's still our responsibility. Public housing is not meant to be a profitable thing. It's meant to provide adequate homes for people who do not financially can afford nice apartments. It's adequate homes. It's not about making profit. It's about providing for your community.
And I agree with that. It's just, we could be stuck for nearly $500,000. We'd have to figure out, we're gonna make the difference up to pay that off as the loan, because we are financially responsible.
It has not happened, and so far we're doing okay, and if you're still making 7,000 profit, we're still in the black. Okay, the other thing I'd like to ask is our chief of police, maybe he can give us some information. Did you have 2 officers graduate from the academy? Would you let us know who they are and give us a little, when did that happen? Was it it's been about a month or what?
They graduated, sorry, let me get closer. Sorry about that, they graduated in November there, or October, November. It was November, it was November 10th, I believe it was. Kevin Johnson and Matthew Lopez, congratulations to them both. They worked really hard, they graduated from the academy, and they're both back and getting them on the streets.
Good. That, I know we were having a lot of trouble certification due to the corona.
Yes.
So we got 2 that are now certified and on the streets and doing the work that we want. Good.
Yes, they're doing good.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
The other thing I like to say is I was very impressed with the Christmas parade. It was really, really nice. And I really enjoyed it. I want to thank all the people that went out and put their effort on it. That's a lot of work. I know I volunteer to do little stuff once in a while, putting lights, getting things organized. That's a lot. And I really appreciate a lot of people going all the way out, decorating their little carts, their little everything, and it was a real good family event, especially close to Christmas, especially with this COVID that has created such a negative attitude as far as being entitled all the time. This is great to see that type of activity. So all the people that did all that work, including the people that participated, I really want to thank them. Let me see. And now the last, since we're doing our ambulance tomorrow, have we started looking for another one? Because you see, this is a big community, and we're doing a lot of transportation. Right now, like I said, what's happening with the one, how are we gonna replace the one that got total out?
So that was an insurance claim. We only received $28,000 for that. That's obviously not enough to buy a new ambulance, which is upwards of about $300,000 now. The plan is not begging DFA for money, because they gave us money. It's sitting there, and we haven't even requested it for the first one. So once we draw down the funds from the first one, we already have a quote ready to go for a second ambulance. We'll be submitting that to DFA for request for a second ambulance.
Let me ask you a question. Even though it seems like the chassis wasn't the one for the part of the ambulance, can't they use that one on another vehicle? Because it's all equipped, it has all the necessary things, and I saw the front so totaled out.
No, sir, that's already been picked up. Since we filed an insurance claim on it, we received a check. The insurance company then picks up the ambulance and tows it off, and it's their possession.
Yeah, how much did they sell it for? Because that has all the equipment and everything.
$28,000, that's it.
That's all they gave us. But those things are 300 and some thousand every time we turn around.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to look at the possibility of making sure that we have adequate protection for our community, and that's ambulance that needs to be in there. And that's make sure that at least have 2 or 3, because we're running all over the county as well as out of town. And like I said, my bill for flying me from here to Clovis was $67,000. That's a heck of a lot of money. If I hadn't had insurance, I couldn't afford to pay it. so.
Commissioner, may I piggyback off you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
The 28,000, is that due from depreciation or was that a lack of coverage?
Depreciation, I would guarantee that was just, it wasn't a replacement value. It's not insured for the replacement value because if you did that, you'd have to insure it at, say, $300,000, and then our insurance premium would go through the roof on all our vehicles. So that is just depreciated value.
He left us handicapped, that's all I can say. Really sad. Okay, other than that, all I want to make sure is people, please go out, take that COVID shot. I have a nephew that didn't take it. He winded up pretty sick. It's been a month, he's been in the hospital. 3-4 days ago, they flew him to Hobbs where he's being well taken care of. I was very impressed with Guadalupe County Hospital, who really did an excellent job in caring for him, because as you all know, there's 50 people waiting to get into ICUs in the state of New Mexico. She saw the news today, So the whole deal is, please get those shots. It's very important. I had the shot, and the most I was sick was maybe a week, and most I was in the hospital was a day and a half. So, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that I had taken the shot. So, and there's no reason why not to get the shots. The senior citizens now will help provide, if you have difficulty getting on the computer to make the appointment with the downtown clinic, they will be happy to help according to them. So, Clara, I hope you let the information out in the community know about it. Okay? Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis.
Thank you, Mark, for getting that letter. I want to ask all the commissioners to show your support and sign it. Sorry, Connie and Scott, I didn't make it to the parade this year.
Missed your dancing.
I know. Chase, congratulations. Thank everybody for listening.
Okay, Commissioner Arias.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'm gonna echo the thank yous to all the organizations that helped put on the parade of lights and the decorating of the depot. It's times like these that really show the greatness of Tucumcari and those who are willing to make her shine just a little bit brighter. Ms. Ray, thank you. Ralph, thank you for finding us the $1 million to fix some of our roads. Chase, I look forward to having a drink. We do appreciate everyone, and we hope everyone has a, I'm still back next week, so I won't wish you Merry Christmas yet, but everyone have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Is that all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say it was nice to visit with Ben Salazar, and Congresswoman Teresa Ledgers said she was going to be giving me a call to get the 22,000 grant to our airport. That was exciting to know that we got that from the DOT.
Good.
So appreciated that. Also, too, thanks for all the community work, Connie, that you and Scott do. It's just endless. Seems like every week you just outshine yourself. So we don't know how much more to thank you, but we appreciate. I know last weekend I didn't get to go to the parade either, but I've heard lots of compliments on it. So thank you so much. I did want to comment though that I noticed that there's lots of lights out down at the depot and on 2nd Street. So we really need to get those taken care of because, well, with the carriage rides and everything else that's going on, that could really be a danger. So I'm looking forward to the carriage ride tomorrow. So excited, and also for Vince's Chicken Fried Steak. So I'm looking forward to that too. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. Appreciate it very much. Clara, thank you again for all your hard work. We appreciate everything you do. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All second.
roll call.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Webb?
Okay, good night. You want to stay on?